for us to create our document. So once it opens, it's A4 that I wanted, so automatically A4 is here, and you could see that it's at landscape. I want to give it a file, so this is where you name it on title 1. So maybe let's give it a name, and maybe the name is project 1. So project 1, and then we hit on create. Now we have project 1, and this is our file we have created. So this is basically how you can create a new file in Adobe Photoshop. Now, how do you then save a file? So this brings us to how to save a file in Photoshop. So we have created a file, but we don't have any project here. So let's at least put something on it. So let me basically draw some small thing on it. This is a circle, and then I'll give it a color. So it shows at the layers panel, there's a thumbnail here. I'll double click on it, and then I'll give it maybe any color at all. So maybe this is a project. We want to save it. How do we save it? You go to file, you go to save, then you see. So the project 1 is already there because we named it from the beginning, and you have so many file formats to save your file. The one is Photoshop document file format, and then there's a whole lot. The JPEG and the PNGs is there, so, and the TIF. So we will leave it at Photoshop file document, and of course you save it. But we are not saving it now because the newer versions of Photoshop, like maybe you are using 2020, 21, 22, those versions, most at times, if you create a new layer aside the original document you are working, when you go to save, you may not have all the preset to work on. You may see small preset there. It may be only the Photoshop document, the TIF, and I think maybe PDF. The JPEG, PNG, and all that is not showing. It means that those file format doesn't support layers. That is why you did not see them. But don't worry yourself. You can save it in any dimensional order by going to the file again. Then because I'm using 2019, that preset is not here for me. So you see save as a copy beneath the save as. So if you are using the current Photoshop version, so you choose save as a copy. So when you choose save as a copy, then you save it and you choose any file format. All the file format will be displayed. Then you save your file right there. A quick refresher. How do we switch back to home? You click on the home icon, then it brings you back to home. How do we switch back to the working environment? You click on Photoshop icon, it brings you back to the working environment. What are the 3 major things you have to see or you have to know? The Photoshop components. With us, we have our tools that you can set in this order. You can switch back. We have the working environment, the canvas. This is our canvas, and then we have our panels here. But we have our menu bar, our options bar, and also our status bar, and which our options bar works collectively with the 2 presets here. So for instance, I have drawn a particular shape here. I want to move it. The shortcut for move to is V. So press V on your keyboard, then it activates the move to. Look, I can then click and move my shape around. That is what I mean. That is simple as that. Maybe I want to move any other object. I want to move any other object. Maybe this particular object, I want to like duplicate it like 2 times or something like so. I'll hold Alt or Command, then I'll click and drag it down. So look, it duplicates it for me. Then I can give it a different color. So you come to the thumbnail, double click on it, then maybe let's give it a color like gold, and then we have it there. I want to move it. Our move to is already activated, so I'll click on it, then I can move it around. Now moving further, let's deal with the Photoshop tools in detail. Many. We have the move tool, we have the marquee tool, we have the lasso tools, crop tool, the eyedroppers, the spot, the brush, the clone, even the gradient tool, move to a whole lot of stuffs. Don't confuse yourself. All of them are of importance. But put it in your mind that you have to master certain tools to advance your career in the graphic design field. Not all the tools that you work with, but some of the tools are there that you cannot do away with it. You have to actually master it. So let's talk about just 3 of them. Let me deal with the move tool, which I've already spoken about it. It actually moves any document on your screen, as you are seeing right here. It moves any document you are seeing here right now. Now, let me move to the brush tool. I have the brush tool here. What does the brush tool do? To paint, the brush tool is used by painters to paint buildings, paint rooms, and other things. So let's try it and see how it works. So this is our document. Let me delete these things off. Let me create a new layer on top, and then I'll pick my brush tool. Of course, once I pick a look, it gives me a very big size because at the beginning, I changed the preset from the options bar. So you could see that's at 5,000. So we can click and then reduce it. I have reduced the size and it's too small for me. Maybe let me increase it again. I think this way is okay for me. The hardness is 100%. It means that whatever thing I'm going to draw is going to be in a hard order or hard manner. So let me change the foreground color. And then let's draw something. Let's brush. So I brush, and then that is how the brush tool work. I can brush again. That is how it works. The hardness is 100%, but we can change the hardness. So let's bring the hardness to 0. Now let's see. Let's brush again. Let me change that particular color, and then we brush again, and you see how that one is going to be. I brush, look at the hardness. Now the hardness is 0, so it's giving us this kind of soft brushing. So whatever we are brushing is going to be in that soft order. So that is how you can play around the brush tool. And the preset is there. We have the opacity at the options bar. What does this mean? The opacity here reduces the ability of the brush to its transparency. So for instance, let me set it back to the hardness, 100%, and I want to draw something. We all know that at the original hardness, 100%, when you draw, you have something hard like this. Now let me reduce the opacity. So I'll reduce the opacity down to maybe 33, or let me say 30, 31, 30 is okay. Now let's draw again. See the hardness. Now you see it's light, it's showing here, but it's too transparent. Let me draw again. Let me increase it from 30 to 50. Okay, 55. Now let's draw. Look. Now you see the hardness is coming. The yellow color is now coming. So the opacity here controls the hardness. So that is another one there. So you can play around it. You can pause the video, then you play around it, you master it, then trust me, you are going to get everything perfect. So that's basically how you can use your brush tool. We have something like the zoom tool. The shortcut for zoom tool is Z. When you press Z on your keyboard, Z, or others will say Z, when you press it on your keyboard, it will give you the zoom tool. This is it. You click on it or you press Z, it will give you the zoom tool. How do we zoom it? You click, then it zoom. You click again, then it zoom. If you want to reduce it, the shortcut is you can hold the Alt key, then you click, then it reduce. Or you can hold Alt or Command, then you use the plus and minus keys on the keyboard. Plus will increase it. Why is that? It happens only when the zoom tool is not selected. So let me activate it to the move tool. Now I want to open the size. So I hold the Control or Command plus, then it will open it for me. If I want it to reduce, Control or Command minus, then it will decrease the size for me. Then project, like let me bring it any project. What is the shortcut for bringing any file into Photoshop? Control or Command O, then it will give you your file explorer, right? Then you can choose wherever you want to pick a project from. Maybe your project is on desktop, then you can move downwards and select that particular project, but maybe it's not showing in the form of image for me, so I can close it, and then I can minimize my Photoshop, bring it directly from desktop. So I want to pick this particular image here. I'll click and drag it, come to the Photoshop icon. I don't want to drag it on the interface of this particular canvas, but I want to open it as a separate document. So what do? I drag it at the menu bar here, then I'll release, then it opens as a separate document. So for instance, this particular document, maybe you are working with it like you want to remove blemishes of the lady. Look at the face. Maybe you want to remove the blemishes, and then let me pick the spot healing brush tool. That is actually what sometimes some people do use to remove blemishes. I am increasing it with the square brackets on the keyboard. When you press on the other side, it reduces. If you press on the other side, it increases. So maybe you are removing the blemishes and look, it's working. Yeah, it's actually working. I want to remove all these blemishes. I am working and I want to zoom out and zoom in so that I will see where the picture or all the affected areas of the picture. What do I do? You can hold the control or command minus, control or command plus, then you increase it from that particular side. That is how you can easily get it. It's simple as that. So you zoom in to see where all blemishes are located, you zoom out, and then you check if you have it there. So that's a quick one on the spot healing brush. Of course, you see some arrows attached to all the tools. It means that it has other family tools. What do I mean by family tools? For instance, if you click and hold on the left key, I'll click and hold, look, the move tool, we have artboard tool inside. If I come to the marquee tool, I click and hold, look, it opens rectangular marquee tool, it has elliptical marquee tool. So for instance, the rectangular marquee tool, what do I do? Maybe if I select a portion of this image, it's a background image, so I cannot move unless maybe I unlock it. And if I want to move it, what do I do? This is my move tool, shortcut is V. I'll press on V, look, then I can move that particular portion of the image around. That is how. Or maybe at the marquee tool, I don't want the selection to be in that square order. What do? I'll deselect the selection here. How do we deselect? You press Ctrl or Command D. It has been deselected. Then you go back. You click and hold. Then you select the elliptical marquee tool. Maybe I want to make the selection in a circle manner. I'll click on it. Then I'll draw my ellipse or circle. Then I'll press V to activate my move tool to move it around. Then I can move it around. So in that order, that is how you can basically play around some of the tools in Adobe Photoshop. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can also brush, and the last one I want us to talk about is the test tool. The test tool. So let me come back to this particular Photoshop document so that we use it for our test. What do we actually want to write? Maybe whatever thing you want to write, you click, you select the text tool. The shortcut for text tool is T. You press T to select text tool. Maybe what do I want to write? Maybe you want to write, I am good in designing. I am good, or I am a beginner. So let me write, I am a beginner. Then look at the mark at the options bar. When you type finish and you want it to save, then you click on the mark. Now the work is saved. Then how do you then move it around? You select the move tool or you press V. Then you have this transform around it. You click at the left corner. Then you drag it downwards to open the work. I am a beginner. You open it widely and then you press on enter. You can change the color, of course, because beginning when we were customizing the interface or the working environment of Photoshop, I mentioned something called toggle character, which is right here. So I can bring it out and I can even change the color from here. So I can even give it a color black. I'll press OK, or I can even give it a different color like blue. I'll select my color. You can pick the blue, different type. We have the light aspect and the darker aspect. So let's pick the darker aspect. Then I can give it a different color option like this blue. And I can use this particular preset here to reduce the size of the text here. Look, this capital T, small t you are seeing here is actually showing you how you can transform the size of the text. So if I click and drag it downwards, look, it reduces the sizes. It reduces the sizes complete. If I drag it again downwards, it reduces it to its smallest position. If I want it to be wide, what I do is I'll increase the size. Now it's wide for me. And if I want it to be kind of spread out, what do? I have this VA here. It's actually set to 0. I can click and hold. Look, it opens it widely. Now my text is split apart. So you could see that all the text has been splitted. So I can drag it backwards, I can drag it inside, I can drag again, maybe you want spaces, you can drag again, you want spaces, and then you have it this way. Maybe this is what you want. Afterwards, you can reduce the size. So you can come back here and reduce the size gently. You can reduce it again and again and again. So maybe you have reduced it to the smaller size. You want to split it again, you can still go back. It's at 180, you can split it again. More spaces, you can give it more spaces, you can give it more spaces. So that is why I actually customized the toggle character here. I actually wanted to have these properties whenever I am typing anything. And maybe afterwards you want to center your work. Yes, you come back to the options bar, you have this three dot here, you click on it. We have selection. Click on the selection, then choose canvas. So at the canvas, it displays your alignment preset for you. You choose horizontal center. So you click on it, look, it positions the work at the center of your document. And you can also pick it directly from the options bar right here. You click on it and then it will pick the work for you. But if the layer is not selected or the work is not selected, like for instance, I click any part of my document. Now you could see that my layer here is not selected. That is, I am a beginner. Here is not selected. It means that if I want to center it, I will find it a challenge. So I have to select it before, then I will center it. And the shortcut for also centering the work is you hit Control or Command A. So the moment you hit Control or Command A, look, you have this selection around your document. Then you move ahead and click at the center. Or you click left, you position it at left, you click at center, it positions it at the center. When you are done, you press Control or Command D to deselect the work. So not only or not this is not only way to also implement your text. You can also draw a text box. So if you want to hide this layer, you click on the eye. So let's turn this layer off. It's there, we have not deleted it, we can still bring it back. You see it comes back, but we want to actually hide it. So you can also draw a text box. For instance, when you look at the cursor right now, you could see some box around it. So you can click and hold and draw a box like this, and then you can type inside the box. So lorem has been automatically arranged inside the box, and you can even increase the size. Look, you see it works only within the box. It works only within the box, and you can center it. Of course, you can align it left, you can align it right, and also you can even give spaces to this particular text you are seeing here. Look at this particular place. You see inside my toggle character, I'm giving spaces. Now I have given it wide spaces. I can bring it back, can bring it back, I can bring it back. It is now it's too compacted, so I can go back, I can go back and give these spaces to it, and I think I am okay with it. So this is how you can easily arrange your text in a text box. So you can draw a text box and you type inside. And most of the times in funeral posters, this is what most of the time people do. That's why you see that alignment and arrangement. And most of them, they use text box so that they'll get the alignment and arrangement perfectly. So you can pause the video and try it yourself. A quick refresher. How do we activate the move tool? You press on the V to activate the move tool. So if you hit on V, look, our text is selected. You can move it around. You can move it around. How do you select the brush tool? Brush tool shortcut for brush is B. You click on B, your brush tool will be selected. How do you activate your text tool? The shortcut for text is T. You press T from the keyboard and then your text tool will be activated. That is basically how you can activate your text tool and then the other tools also. Now, this brings us to the main importance or the most important panels we earlier spoke about. That is the Photoshop panels. So now let's deal with the layers panel. What is the layers panel? So this is actually the layers panel, and the layers panel here is specifically and basically displays all the layers you are seeing here. So at first we write I am a beginner. Let me turn it on. Now look, so it's of a different layer. So I have lorem and I have I am a beginner. They are separate layers. That is what you are seeing here. So everything or whatever activity you are undergoing, it shows as a layer. If you create a new effect, the effect will show as a layer. So for instance, let me group these particular layers. How do we group them? I will select the first one, I'll click on it, I'll hold Control or Command, I'll click on the second one. Now I want to group them. I'll click Control or Command G, then I group them. So maybe I don't want to work with them again. I just want to hide it. So I'll turn it off by clicking on the eye. I bring it back. I turn it off. So let's draw something and see how that one too appears at the layer. So let's take our circle tool and then maybe draw some circles. We have the yellow circle. Nice. Let's duplicate this. What is shortcut for duplicating? Hold Control or Command J, then we duplicate it. You see the yellow ellipse has become, we have ellipse 1 and then we have ellipse 1 copy. So it means that there are two here. One is overlapping on each other. So let's give it a different color. So this thumbnail here, you double click inside, then you give it a different color. So I have this color. Then I want to move this particular wine color from the yellow one. So what do? I want to move it. So what do? We have the move tool, and the shortcut for the move tool is V. You press V on the keyboard. Then you can use your arrow keys to move it downwards, or you can use your mouse. You click and drag it somewhere here. I want us to duplicate this one and give it a different color. What do? We hold Alt or Command and click and drag it downwards. Then we have the duplicate. We click on the thumbnail to give it a different color, maybe green, and then I'll give it a deep green. Then we have these three layers at the panel. So you could see that at our layers panel, we have layer 1, copy 2, layer ellipse 1, copy 1, and the original ellipse here. So this was the original one. This is the copies of this original ellipse we have created. So once we have the layers, how do we want them to show? For instance, maybe I want the yellow layer to be on top. You could see that the yellow layer is beneath all the layers. So it means that we can actually transform it. We can bring it to forward or we can bring it backwards. But this one, you could see that that one aligns backwards. The current layers are on top, and on top layers are going to be preview, and then the ones beneath are going to be hidden. So I want the yellow to be on top. What do? I hold my left click, I'll drag it upwards on top of the yellow ellipse at the top. Now look, we have our yellow being at the forward position or the first position of all of them. And if I want the green to show, what do? I'll click on the green, I'll click and drag, I'll drag it on top. Now the green is also showing. So that is how you can manipulate or play around your layers. The one that you want it to show, you bring it upwards, and then in that order you arrange it. And the thumbnails, you can see that our layer thumbnails is kind of a small. You can click at any empty part of the layer. So right click and then look, you have no thumbnails, you have small thumb, you have medium. So if you want your thumbnails to be medium, you click on medium. Now you could see that it has transformed from the smaller positions. You can right click there again, set it to large. Now we have our thumbnails being displayed as large. And if you look at the thumbnails, we have this small thing that looks at camera. Whenever you want to change the color, double click inside, then it will give you access to play around any color. Play around it, and then it will give you a different color. So that is how you can play around your layers. So this is the layers panel, and not only to the layers panel, I first dock some history panel here. So the history panel here basically displays all the activities we are doing. So when I started from scratch, look, this is the history panel, and it helps us to also move backwards in order. So when I click, you see modify color fill layer. Now you see all the activities I took is now displaying everything to here. So it means that when we were drawing the ellipse, this is where the activity started from. So when I click here, I drew the ellipse shape layer, copy, then I copied it. You could see that it is showing. I click here, then I gave it a different color. All the activities has been dug as history in the history panel. So the history panel also help us to go back in step by step. So it's very helpful panel. That is why I dock it here to see all the activities I am undergoing. And then we have the properties. Look, the properties panel too. You can change the colors here. It gives you the document dimension as well. it gives you document dimension. Then the actions panel, I will not talk about it right now, but it gives action to a certain prefect. It gives actions, so you can give different action to certain preset on your Photoshop. So that one is a bit confused. I will not stretch much on it, but at your level here you can play around it. Now from the layers panel, we move straight to our canvas. What is the canvas? Now on the canvas, look, let's click any part here. If I right click, I can change the color of our canvas. This is the default color of our canvas. If I want to change it, I can change it to black. I click on it. Now our canvas is changed to black, and you could see our document white color is being displayed very well because of the black nature of our canvas. And you can right click, and then you can also set it to medium gray, look, and then it gives you a different color. You can right click and also customize your own. If you click on the custom, you can give it a different color. Of course, you can give it a different, or you can select a costume color. So you can then give it, maybe let's say gold or orange. So let's give it an orange. Select orange. I'll hit on OK. Now look, our canvas is now orange, but I don't like all these colors. I like the default one, so we set it back to our default canvas. Now we have about 3 separate documents here. So we have this one, we have that one, and then our project is also inside. Maybe I want to display them separately in Photoshop so that I can work on them separately. How do? I go to Windows, I go to arrange, then I can arrange it vertically or horizontally. Because it's 3, I will arrange it in 3 up vertical. Now look, I have it in a separate document. So if I want to play with this one, I'll just click on it, then it shows everything for me to work on. So if I want to work on this particular project here, I can work on it. If I want to work on this one separately, I can work on it, and I can do my transformation within only this environment. And of course, this one too, you can click on it. Look, you can play around your sheet. You can reduce the size, control, command, minus, then you reduce it. So if you click inside any of this canvas, then it will give you access to work within that region. And if you want to consolidate all of them, if you want all of them to show on the tab, you go back, arrange, then you consolidate all tabs. Then you have them separate on your document. So that is how to use Photoshop. And this is complete beginners to advanced tutorial. So at this point, I will not stress much on it. All that I want you to do is you download the video, you practice it, and then you become a master, process by process. So today's video ends here, and I would like to see you at the next video. Please, if you like this video, all that I want you to do is you like, you follow, then you share for me, and also place your questions at the comment section, and whatever you think we should do, then I will do it for you right away. Thank you and have a nice day.